Hello guys, welcome to the next episode of Late Friday Night's Banter Blitz. I'm International Master Andrey Ostrovskiy, and I must admit that that was a long and exhausting week. So I was really busy with non-chess related stuff. I'm really tired, which means you can probably beat me with higher probability than usually. But I will try my best to survive it. So, since I'm tired, I will be not for a long time with you guys this night. But, well, everything depends on the results, I guess. So, let us go and just start playing. Just a sec. I will try to find the guys I've never ever played before, just as usual, to start with several games against this newcomers to the show. But probably it will be not that simple because I have not so many challenges so far, and looks like I've played to each and everybody who challenged me. So I will go just one by one. Graf von Paulin is the first, so I accept the challenge. Let's go. So I'm playing with white pieces. E4. Here we go. Chronic student says, the days he says he's not in form, he wins. Yep. Because it's just an additional motivation to play better, right? Okay, what do we have here? Knight c6, classic. Sicilian, bishop c4. e6. Bishop e3. Duke Crusher, hello. Bishop e7. Alright, let's castle. There is nothing wrong with castling, I guess. Let's just play king h1. Alright, knight goes to e5. So I'll probably give up this dark squared bishop. I'll probably just give up it. So from e2 square or from d3, I don't think there is a big difference. So let's put the queen on e2. And e5. Weakening d5 square. Well, probably it's a move, but I'm not sure it is the best one here. I guess the natural square for the knight is on e2 in such a situation. Just in case my knight will land on d5 one day, this knight will go to c3 to support it. At least I will have the access to d5 square, something like this. Or what about just playing knight d5? I mean, in such a situation, it's very important that my knight has this simple way to d5 square, I think. So potentially this bishop is bad. But should I play knight c3 or should I play just c4 even? And then knight c3, knight d5. I'm not sure, but let's play c4. Looks interesting in the sense of just limiting this b7, b5. And slightly later, my knight will go to c3 and so forth. Or maybe after this, I will put it on e4, another interesting position actually. With a complete blockade, I mean in the center. Center is blockaded, the knight is amazing, the rook on d5 is also very good. So the knight will be even better here on e4 than on d5 because it will attack d6. Very good position. Okay, rook f4. So let's put the knight on e4. Looks nice. Queen f8. So what to do now? To play f3 or not to play f3? It's not necessary, I think, right now, because my knight e4 just protects f2. But once the queen is on f5, I should protect it anyway. Moreover, if I play f3 right now, I just created direct... No, it's not a direct threat of taking on d6. Not even close. But still, I think f3 is something that you play automatically in such a situation, just to make your position much more solid, I think. So by the way, I didn't ask you about the quality of the stream. So what's going on? What is with the picture, with the sound? Is everything all right or not? Just let me know in chat. G6. Not sure what is the point behind this, so let's play rook d1. And Duke Crusher says that stream is great. Okay, thank you very much. So rook is on d8. What is my next plan? So I can play queen b6 now, attacking d6 and b7 simultaneously. I can also play b4, c5. I don't know what is better. So queen b6 is kind of straightforward. I guess queen b6 deserves attention, but then there is rook f3 or something. I'm not sure. Let's just play b4. It cannot be a bad move. b6. Well, I can take on b6 now, but then rook takes f3. Well, maybe it's nothing actually. But I still prefer like being a bit more solid. On the other hand, I don't have the time. That's a problem. Right, let's overprotect the f3 to start with. Because all these pawns will not go away. I mean, they're constant weaknesses. And it's important, in my opinion, to prevent the counterplay. So black's only chance, I think, is something connected with the attack on the king's side. Wow, g3 was also a good move here, but okay. I mean, my position is just gorgeous. I don't have to be in a hurry. I mean, it's important to just make everything to make my king safe first, and then we will start collecting pawns one by one, I think. Right now I think it's okay to play g3. The move I missed previously. And now I think I can easily take on b6, right? Because everything is protected now. f3 is just covered by king and the rook simultaneously, so d6 is under fire. I'm already a pawn up. Looks like a very good position. Right now, let's just protect c4. So as you can see, I'm not going to give my opponent even a single chance here. I'm just overprotecting everything here. And 2 pawns up. g6 is hanging. Rook d8 is his threat now. Queen d5, queen e5. Wow, so many threats. Okay, let's just grab it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, so what was wrong? Actually, the entire approach, I think, starting from e5. That is strange. So you just grab the bishop, right? it was much more natural to try some like a6 or maybe, I don't know, something connected with preparation of the d5, in fact, not e5. So basically in this system, my main idea is to provoke e5. For this, white usually plays f4 and f5, so spends 2 moves. Just to force black to play this e6, e5 to weaken d5 square. And you play e5 yourself, weakening it. I'm not sure it is logical. I don't think it is a big mistake, but well, the next move is a big mistake. So bishop takes b3 is already quite bad. It was much better to try to occupy c-file now with heavy pieces waiting for me, taking on e6. Or just playing on d5, but c2 is hanging. That's, in many cases, the point. So something like, say, rook to c8 stops me from playing immediate knight to d5, because you can capture with the bishop, let's say, and if I want to recapture with a piece, I have to understand that c2 is hanging. So I have to prepare it, maybe to play some like rook d2, another rook to d1, but it takes time. So you can use this time by playing some like a6, queen c7, and so on. And if I take on e6, okay, you take with the pawn and you have f5 and d5 covered. That's the thing. After bishop takes b3, I no longer have big problems with occupation of the d5. Now it's easier. I don't have to actually take this possibility of bishop takes d5 into account. Now I noticed that probably I wasn't that right about the rook c8 move here, because if you play rook c8, actually a7 drops. So maybe instead of doing it, queen to c7 deserved attention or something like this. Or maybe just a6 to start with and then rook to c8, I'm not sure. So, as I said before, in general, I don't like the idea of e5 because it weakens d5 and gives me very simple play. Alright, but this simplification is definitely in white's favors. Now, well, I have just very simple position to play. Again, f5 is probably just something that is helpful for white, because after that I don't have to think of playing knight to d5, maneuvering it there, because now I have this great square on e4. So after knight e4, I think it's strategically winning, simply strategically winning for white. So your bishop is absolutely passive, you don't have active play, I just attack your weaknesses and so forth. So positions like this should be avoided by all means if you play black. Okay. So, I think that was the main reason. So, simplification, first weakening of the d5 square, then simplification that actually leads to this material relationship, which is quite good for white. And the rest was just a technical stage. So, I just activated all the pieces against d6 pawn. I just came up with some prophylaxis, protected my king. So, basically, I think after all this, I mean, when I already had the knight on e4, black has no chances. Alright, let's have a look if we have new challenges from guys I've never ever played before. I mean, not even a single game. Yeah, here is Baruda or Barada, I don't know, from Norway. Never ever played, so I'll accept the challenge. I'll accept the challenge. And now black pieces. Here we go. Opponent disconnected, it says 30 seconds to abort. Okay, we're going to wait. We are going to wait a bit, I think. d4, split. Okay, let's go. Knight to f3. Let's play something more or less aggressive, at least at first glance. Just undermining the center immediately with a c5, c3. Okay, d5. Alright, taking the pawn. Makes sense, probably. Let's try to get some counterplay for it. Okay. There is no need in this because I just took the pawn. I think before was a move. Yeah, before is too late because I already grabbed the pawn. Okay, now bishop goes here. Yeah, it would be nice to have the bishop on g4 in this situation, but okay. Even with the bishop on c8, it should be fine for black. So, I mean, it feels like Slav reversed. Yeah, and it's better to have the bishop on g4 to have the possibility to grab the knight on f3 than to play knight e5. Controlling c4 square. Nevertheless, let's play on. Bishop b5 is probably not from this opening at all. Bishop e7, sorry, bishop e2, then castling, then a3 and c4 was sort of programmatic. So now I think I can just play this with a very simple idea to exchange my light squared bishop soon. I want to try knight e5 next move. Okay, c4 drops b4. That's the point, so let's take it. Oh, I should have captured with the bishop. Lost concentration, so now bishop f6 is very promising. Now, but bishop d7 is not promising because I take with the knight. That's, well, very strange game. So knight takes b4 was too fast, too quick. No surprises, it was a mistake. I just forgot about opponent's resources. Alright, but now I'm fine, of course. I have extra pawn. Looks like this c4 drops, especially after queen c2. I just take it. Now I can take on c4, but b7 is hanging. Again, most likely I made not the best move, so dc4 immediately was much stronger. Oh my god, I'm just playing very badly this game. I mean, my position is still very good, but could have been much better. But why didn't take on b7, which is very strange. Okay, I'll just protect the pawn then. And this is another mistake. But I have to check if I don't lose the queen after queen d2 and something like rook to d1. I don't think so. I have too many squares to go away. Well, not too many actually, only two. So queen d2, rook d1. So let's say I have queen a2 and queen e2. Everything else is more or less controlled, right? So still, I think I should save my queen, so I'll take it. We'll go to a2, then b3, a4, and somehow back home. Looks like an option. b7 is hidden, right? Okay, it's no longer that important because I don't get it. I mean, too many mistakes, too many blunders. Too many blunders, my friend. That's why you're losing this game. To take it or to play queen a1. Queen a1 I think is better. Forcing the rook to take. Otherwise, I take it and a checkmate very, very soon. Or if white wants to avoid a checkmate now, he has to do something strange like g3 or h3 or queen a6, which is just a disaster. Okay, where is the checkmate? Have no idea. Let's just make some natural moves. Here is the checkmate, finally. Okay. So there is nothing to discuss, in fact, except for probably some opening moves, because after that there was just a series of blunders. So first of all here, instead of playing e3, just b4 immediately, and I think white can save this pawn on the board. Well, probably I have some counterplay after a5, but it looks a bit slow. You know, b6. It's possible to protect the pawn. Maybe b6 immediately deserves attention, but then again, well, I'm not quite sure that it's completely okay for black. So e6, all right. After e3, I think I have no problems. So after b4, bishop b2, it's kind of transposition to Slav, but reversed. So white could have come up with the following plan. So knight e2 was okay, knight c6, but here bishop e2 should be played with the following castling, then a3 and c4, just like how black plays when he plays Slav. And looks like black is a tempo down, and the bishop is on c8, not on g4, so there is no this typical idea of taking the knight, then knight to e5, exchange of knights, bishop e5, pinning the pawn on c3, which means white can play this c4 rather quickly. So that was the idea. Bishop b5 is simply not from here. So castles, rook to c8, and now for instance, if you play a3, preparing c4, I thought I would play knight to e5. Now it makes a great sense because your bishop is hanging, and if you take on d7, I don't know, I can take on f3, I can also just take on d7, say with the knight. This looks interesting. And if knight takes e5, then I take with the knight and I get to c4 square. That's the point. That's why it is so important to have the bishop somewhere on e2 to have additional defender of the c4 square. Because in this case, if I get here, well, it's over. Just strategically lost because your bishop is just awful. That's the thing. But you played c4, maybe not that bad idea. I should have captured with the bishop, of course, having just held the extra pawn, but I took with the knight. That was terrible. And now you could have captured on f6. And I cannot take with the queen because you take my bishop on d7, which means I'm forced to damage the pawn structure, and position is no longer that simple to evaluate. So I'm not sure that black is really better here. At very least, you have good chances. You have good chances because of my pawn, so your knight should just go away somewhere, then your queen jumps somewhere to f3 to h5 maybe. And, well, it's still some play, right? Because bishop d7 immediately, okay, I'm just a pawn up, and I cannot see a compensation, all right? Let us continue. So let's have a look if we have one more challenger I've never ever played before. So almost everybody, I played at least one game. Here is Dragunov from Norway as well. The guy from Spain, Anton. And one more guy, Chewy the Chewer from United States. Okay, so I will play all of these guys. I'll start with Dragunov. Accept. White pieces. Let's try knight f3. Grabbing student says, I miss Blackmar. I guess you mean the guy from Chess24, not the opening. Or the guy who this opening was named after. And if I'm right, just, well, let me know if you have any sort of information. Where it is, guy. He was very imaginative player. He was really imaginative player. It was interesting to play against him. Because every time, well, you never knew what to expect. So, what do we have here? We have a transposition to one of the lines of King's Indian defense. A6. One of the moves. What could be a useful move for white? Not quite sure. D5 is premature here. E4, then just B5, I think. Maybe just H3. I'm not sure that is a good move, but I'm just going to wait a bit. Bishop D7. Maybe I should play this way, like B3, Bishop B2. Right, I'm just protecting this pawn on H3. And rook to B8. Okay, very logical so far. What about A4? Trying to prevent B5. Probably not a good idea because it weakens a lot. It weakens the pawn, it weakens B4, and so on. Maybe my opponent will not have a chance to exploit these weaknesses. I'm not sure. Let's go and see. Knight to B4. I was actually worrying about something like knight to A5, followed by B5, or maybe knight somewhere then followed by B5. Knight on B4 can be also followed by B5, but I think with the knight on B4 it's not that terribly dangerous. Moreover, I can play bishop A3 now, more or less forcing something like A5, but no, it doesn't force A5, it actually leads to C5. So position is not that simple. Interesting question from one of the guys on chat about 9-year-old daughter, if I got it correctly. Of course, just tell her to play open games. Every kid should start with open games, I believe, just to learn what is it to attack and to defend. The initiative and the keen hunt is the first thing that every player should learn, I guess. So knight at B4, what to do here? I'm not so sure. Let's play E4, come on, it's time to occupy the center. Oh, sister, it was sister, okay. Not daughter. Alright, sorry. I was just, reading too quickly and probably missed some details. Doesn't matter. If she is 9 years old, then she has to play open games. Moreover, girls are usually very good at tactics. And it's better to play open games, because in open games there is more tactical content, I think. Rook to D8, okay, I'm not quite sure. Maybe it is just against my E5 idea. I still can play E5 if I want, but it's tempting to go away with the queen from the D file to actually make Rook D8 not so dangerous. C5. What about E5 now? Absolutely unclear, but I have a feeling that I had no choice, actually. And 98, wow. The move that I probably underestimated. Or maybe it's okay. I mean, I can take on c5 now if I want. I can also play just d5. Yeah, d5 looks good. Just grab an additional space. And if d takes c5, then knight takes c5. Very good knight on e5, followed by something like bishop f4, probably. And there is a great probability that this knight on b4 will be quite useless. So it looks nice, but it's completely out of play at the moment. Would be nice to have it on d4, of course. That's another story, but on b4, it's not necessarily that great. But there is a possibility, of course, to get to d4 if black wants. So something like bishop e5, queen e5, knight c2, but this will be moving the knight to d4 at the cost of the bishop, which is bad. So this bishop on g7 is no longer that stupid King's Indian bishop. It's a great King's Indian bishop and a good defender of the king. So taking it on e5 with the bishop would be quite dubious, in my opinion. Bishop f5 instead. Alright, this makes sense. So now there is this threat of just playing knight c2. And then knight to d4. Should I react to this with the help of g4 now, attacking the bishop? Where the bishop goes after g4? Maybe to c2. Position becomes more and more complicated, move after move. Should I be afraid of this knight c2, knight d4 in general? Not quite sure. On the other hand, it looks quite annoying, so let's check this move. I believe it's not good. Most likely I'm just misplaying the position. On the other hand, g4 is not only the move with the idea of attacking the bishop, trying to actually force it either back or to c2, just grabbing c2 square from the knight. Another idea is just to play bishop f4, and after that, my bishop will have this safe position on g3, something like this. For example, here, right now. If after g4, knight c2, I was thinking of just taking on f5 and then bishop somewhere quickly with some counterplay, probably. Maybe not. Don't know. Okay. I was lucky in this game, actually. I misplayed it. Seriously. So I guess a4, after a4, black could have played something better than knight to b4. I'm not sure that that was the best square for the knight. Well, what about something typical like e5, d5? Well, it's not typical. In fact, the pawn should remain on e7 for this. Knight to a5, exerting some pressure on pawns, followed by c5. Or is it too much? I'm not sure. Should I play rook to b1? I'm not a big expert to start with in these positions. After rook b1, bishop f5 is not very pleasant. So let's say I start with knight d2, now something like c5. It looks a bit artificial, but why not? Followed by, I don't know, queen c7, b5, or maybe just b6, knight b7, if it is necessary. In fact, it's possible just to play knight e8, f5, and so forth. Position is closed. Yeah, this knight on a5 is a bit strange, but since I cannot trap it, well, it's okay. Just attacking my weakened pawn on b3. Okay. Question from Cramming Student, was bishop e5, queen e5, knight d3 bad? So let's have a look at that. So d takes c5, knight takes c5 here, bishop takes c5, queen e5, knight to d3. I think it is, because I just take on e7. And after knight takes c1, I just take here, just a pawn up, winning position, I think. So, no, I guess bishop f5 is a good move. After g4, I have a strange feeling that simple bishop c2 is very good for black. And then just grabbing even on b3. Not so sure, of course, because, well, it looks a bit dangerous just to misplace the bishop like this on b3. Just quite bad, quite limited for some time, but probably can go back. Also, c4 will be very weak after that. Maybe b5 will just free the bishop or something like this. I don't know. I'm not sure in this position, but let's check what was suggested on chat as well. So knight c2 here. What about g takes f5 and now knight takes a1? What is this? So I thought it could be promising position for white, but maybe I just overestimated it. Maybe not. Knight takes f7 doesn't work probably, at least right away. But it feels like there should be something. I mean, position looks interesting. So bishop f4, knight takes b3. Let's say knight takes f7 now. No, it's a bit too much. Also, after bishop f4, there is queen f5. No, that was okay. Probably knight c2 was the most testing continuation here and probably the best one. On the other hand, probably I'm not that entirely bad after simple rook a2. Attacking the knight, and if knight d4, just queen to e1. It looks like I have everything protected, so except for b3 pawn, yeah, it's still weak. But next move will be something like bishop f4, and so on. Position is unclear. Yeah, most likely knight c2 was good. Okay. So I wanted to play whom? I wanted to play the guy from Spain first. I'll accept the challenge. And then I'm going to play the guy who suggested knight c2, so Chewy. All right, let's play this one. There is a question how I can challenge Andrey Ostrovskiy. And the Fuchsia responded with the with the link to the post with frequently asked questions about Banter Blitz. All right, there should be somewhere my nickname, and you can simply use it. My nickname is Ostrovskiy. And you can challenge me. Oh, e5, knight to d7. I never ever seen this before. Wow. That's something interesting. What is this? Let's take on d6, I think. It's alright. I don't think that e6 was great because bishop is still on the board. I mean, bishop c8, so then if I attack e6, then knight simply goes away. And I achieve nothing. But after taking on d6, it, I don't know, knight c5, I guess. But even if knight c5, okay, I just play queen f4 or something, I should be fine. And after knight b6, I guess I can even take on e7. Am I stupid to assume that after d takes e7, I win a pawn? So queen e7, just queen e4. If knight takes a4, I take on d8. Looks like a pawn. Let's take it. Very strange, guys. On my end, the stream looks just fine. So I'm sorry that you have some issues following the stream. Stream was hanging. Says almost everybody. That is strange. I'm just looking at the stats. It doesn't look like it should have been. Folks asked, why didn't he take with the queen? I don't know. Queen to e4. Yeah, maybe black has some initiative after that, but anyway, it feels like an extra pawn. So I'm a pawn up now, but, well, right now it doesn't feel like I have an extra material because it's probably not that important right now. I mean, this extra pawn on the queen side cannot be actually converted. So black has some good chances here, even for a win, I guess. Alright, what to do now? Rook to d1 followed by bishop e2 castling, or just bishop e2 castling. Bishop e2 castling looks like just a safe way. Even bishop d3 can be considered here because, well, although my queen is a bit limited there, it's really hard to attack it because of my bishop on e3 mainly. That attacks the knight on b6, I mean. So I have no idea, maybe I'm stupid and blind, but I think this move is quite okay. By the way, after bishop d3, I'm not sure where I'm going to castle, it depends. Queen e7. Of course, after this move, I think I'm more or less forced to castle short because castling long is too risky in the view of bishop takes c3. On the other hand, I have knight e4 followed by castling long if I want. I don't think I have to castle there. It's quite risky. Bishop c5 is not possible because my bishop is pinned, so I will just start with castling, alright? I'll just start with castling, and now I have a threat of playing bishop c5. I have an idea of playing knight e4 now. I have an idea of taking on b6, playing knight d5, a lot of different threats. It feels like extra pawn, simply. And now what to choose? Bishop b6, knight d5, knight f6 looks very nice. Bishop c5 looks also good, but then black will have typical compensation for missing exchange. Hard choice. If I take on b6, on the other hand, there should be something like knight d4 considered. I don't know. Let's play this. Let us be a bit materialistic, but I think it's okay. Should be alright. The only problem now is that I have only 1 minute and position is rather complicated. And usually it's much easier to play it being material down in such a situation. I mean, psychologically. Question, are you still playing chess professionally? I'm not even sure that I've ever played it professionally. So it's really hard to call an international master a chess profi whatsoever. What was going on after knight e5? I think I would have captured the queen, simply. Okay, now let's just go here. All right. I mean, it looks like I exchanged queens, because currently I'm just a rook up. Oh, I don't think it's correct, so I'll just play this. What's wrong with that? I'm just a rook up. Cannot be good for black. Okay. All right. Everybody's back. Everybody's back home. Yeah, most likely I missed something and played not the best moves, but it's okay anyway. For time trouble, for mutual time trouble, I mean, it was completely okay. So, I think after bishop c5, white is simply better. So there was a question about knight e5 here, but okay, I just take here. So what? If knight takes f3, I just take here. And after you take my queen, I just take this bishop, just winning for white. So knight e5 immediately was not good. I'm just winning some material after that. So queen e6 was interesting. Okay, I took here and then knight e5. All right, queen b3, takes. Queen here. And bishop to d6. Yeah, it should be just okay. Maybe with the help of accurate moves. But after queen b5, I thought there would be something interesting connected with this. It takes, and then queen f3. Because now there is a sort of bishop d5, there is a sort of bishop h3. I don't have bishop e4, that's the point. So do I have a good defense? I'm not so sure. Probably bishop e2 should be played just to attack the queen, to have the chance to bring the queen to d3. At least to try to get rid of this queen on this great square f3, controlling g4. Okay, where to go? So if queen goes to e4, then I have another tempo move, queen d3, and it's over. It's clear. And if queen goes somewhere else, I think I'm fine. So if queen leaves this diagonal, it's no longer dangerous. All right, so yeah, it was just lost already. It was just lost. As for the beginning, I'm not sure that knight b6 in general is better than knight to c5. I think knight c5 is an interesting idea, just controlling the e4 square. Now I cannot take on e7. If I take here, just queen e7 wins the queen. On a4, you control e4 square with the knight. That's an important thing, which you don't do after knight b6. So here I have to go away with the queen somewhere. I'm not sure what is the best square for it to retreat. Either b5 or f4. I wanted to play queen f4 just to control d6. I mean, if queen d6 now, then I have something interesting connected with even knight b5. Wow, I didn't see knight b5 during the game. I thought I would just take on d6 and we'll play against that d6 pawn, but it shouldn't be that bad for black. But knight b5 can be really annoying. So what do we have now? Queen is under attack. If queen f4, then bishop f4. Knight goes to e6. Probably only sensible move to protect c7 square. a6 is also possible, but there the knight is too ugly, in my opinion. And even if white is better here, then just slightly, I'm not sure that there is a big advantage or something. Probably no. Probably queen takes d6 is better than that. Alright, so knight e7 is an interesting try. It's an interesting move. Never seen this before again, but knight b6 is probably also okay, but, well, it gives me extra pawn, right? Bishop e7. Maybe queen e7 was interesting. So queen here, now something like bishop f5. Attacking the queen, takes. Something like this. Having the initiative for the missing pawn. c2 is hanging. But again, maybe I have something accurate like knight b5, attacking c7, followed by something like c3, protecting everything, the pawn and the square b4, and then knight goes to d4, and I should be better anyway. Yeah. So knight c5 should be considered, I guess. All right. So the last newcomer for today, Chewy the Chewer, although it is 3-minute game. Usually I play 5 minutes, but I will accept because I promised to accept, so let's go. I'm playing with black. And Chewy is very strong, 2600s. I have to be careful here. So no experimenting, I'm just playing my main moves. And b3. One of possible moves here. d4 is another one leading to Catalan. When white starts with b3, bishop b2, there's probably no Catalan or something. e5 was also absolutely playable. I'm just trying to play something new to me. Now, just c5 looks very natural, undermining d4. This type of positions is usually slightly better for white. Alright, let's go back, because bishop on c5 is quite vulnerable, typically. And who knows, maybe I want to play bishop f6 later. Just exchanging that bishop b2, if it becomes dangerous, of course. Knight c4, very logical. So knight is going to e5. I guess I shouldn't be afraid, so let's play just rook c8. Position is simple and complicated at the same time. So it is a bit simplified because of the exchanges in the center, but it's quite complicated because now everything depends on the pieces play. That is usually the most complicated stuff, to coordinate the pieces the right way and to place them correctly. So far everything looks good and solid for black because the knight on d5 covers everything. And e4 is not necessarily that dangerous because if knight b4, then trying to occupy d3 square. Now it's an interesting question. Should I play f6 or it's just weakening a lot in my camp? Or should I just take on c1 here? After queen c1, what? That's a good question. I'm not sure what to do after queen takes c1. And at the same time, I want to do something with this knight on e5. It's annoying. It's annoying. Maybe just bishop f6. Looks a bit dubious, but at the same time completely playable. Just pinning the knight, I mean. If knight wants to move, it's okay, but it has to go somewhere to d3 or c4 protecting the bishop, or at least white has to spend the time on protecting this bishop right now. Queen d2, very natural reply. Now the knight is free to move. I guess it makes sense for me to protect d7 somehow. Oops. Rook takes c7, queen takes c7. Now attacking the knight. Now taking on b2, simplifying the position a bit. Now I think I'm fine. So let's go. And occupy the c file. Controlling c1 square, maybe intending queen c2 at some point. After rook c7, I think something like e4 immediately should have been played. Or maybe a rook d1 to start with, something like this. Because, like, taking on c7 is too much. I mean, it simplifies the things for me. Rook to b1. It's getting better and better, I think. So what about this move now? Looks very strong. Right now, I think something like this. Oops. There's something I missed, but... Okay, I'm probably losing on time here because I'm very slow. Yeah, I lost on time. At some point I had already a winning position, but I was just too slow. That is what happens when you play 3 minutes and try to command it simultaneously. Okay, thanks for this experience, but I think I completely outplayed my opponent. So somewhere here, I guess I was already much better. So here, well, maybe not much better, but position looked already quite good for black. So maybe f6 was not necessary, but all right, that was okay. So b4. King g2, g5 was too much. There was already the stage of the time trouble. In a normal game, of course, I would have played something much more solid. Maybe queen to c6, maybe something else. So I have much better pieces now. g5 was just too much. But it, well, was not that bad after all. So especially after this exchange, and knight takes a2. Feels like a good position, but, well, the rest was just a time trouble. And I was just very slow. All right. Let's go on. Back to normal order of challenges, and Kramnik student is the next. And Sicilian. I'm just checking if Kramnik student prepared something concrete here. We've played this so many times already. Knight to b4. Okay. Bishop b3. Let's go. Let's go for it. Knight to d7, intending what? Intending knight to c5. I have a feeling that Kramnik student already played something like this against me. Not quite sure, but something similar for for sure, I guess. So bishop takes e6, takes e6, knight e6, where the queen goes to c6 most likely, maybe to b8. Then knight jumps to d5, knight takes, pawn takes. It's not a complete compensation, I guess. Not a complete compensation. So let's play just f5. Let's just play f5. Let's just continue with the plan. Attacking e6, trying to force black playing e5, then occupying d5, and so on. I must admit, it's just a perfect setup for Blitz. You always do the same moves. The plan is very straightforward and simple. So it's like, yeah. Sometimes it's okay, even during classic tournaments. For example, I played this more or less the same against Zoltan Almashi. You know, this 2700s guy in Bundesliga. The game ended in a draw, but at some point I probably was a bit better as white. Okay, knight c5. Can I just take on the e6? Probably I can, but it doesn't give me anything, absolutely. What about f6 instead? f6, bishop f6, rook f6, g f6, bishop h6 looks like the typical sacrifice. Let's try it. Now I want to play queen g4, queen g7 with the checkmate. If king h8, I just take the rook and I have extra material. But e5 is possible now, but it weakens a lot of squares. And I will have some compensation for missing material, which will equal to 1 pawn, I guess. Or maybe I can play just knight f5, bishop f5, e f5, king h8 then. It's possible because rook on f8 is protected. I can jump to g4, attacking the knight on b4 and the g7 square. Yeah, that is an interesting idea. It's a double attack. I mean, knight on b4 is hanging surprisingly. Okay, I'll grab it. Now I have two minor pieces against the rook, and I have great access to this super square in d5. That's what my opponent missed, I think. Yeah, now it's lost, absolutely. All right, that was that was a surprise in tactics. I mean, when I played f6, of course, I didn't see this queen g4, queen b4. What I saw was like this position, so I thought it should be promising. That is when I played f6. I quickly calculated that. So f6, and this is more or less forced, right? Bishop f6, rook f6, here e5, like the only sensible way at first glance to prevent queen g4. Then knight f5 takes. So I didn't see this queen g4 resource. But I thought, well, at least I can grab the rook at some point, and, well, this damaged pawns would be my compensation for missing pawn. I mean, pawns like h7, f6, and f7. Also, it was very famous pattern and so forth. But then I realized there is this knight on b4, which is hanging. That was interesting and surprising even to me. All right. Okay. Yeah. So knight e7, not sure that's the best move. If you play knight b4, probably d5 is an interesting follow-up after that, but bishop to b3, let's see, what about d5 here? Because it's a typical thing. So ed5, then ed5. Okay, you play with the isolated pawn, but you have very active pieces here. At least right now. But after f3, I guess I just limit your knight f6. If necessary, I have bishop to g1. But, well, this position is rather boring, I would say, to play it as white. So, yeah, pay attention to this resource. Okay, next is butterfly, accept. What is this? That was a strange reaction. Or maybe just bad written CSS, I don't know. Okay. So French defense, one of the very popular lines where I don't know the theory at all. I'm just playing every time like for the first time. So if my opponent was preparing something for this game, then probably it will be bad for me. I guess bishop c3, queen c3 is completely fine for white. So yeah, there are these pawns, but I have pair of bishops now. Typical story for variety of openings, like for example, if you play Catalan lawn against e6 a6 Sicilian, then there are plenty of lines where that is possible. Bishop b4, bishop c3. Oh, my song came back. Home. Okay. Knight takes c6, I think, wins the game immediately. So that was just a big blunder. Okay, it's time to resign, I guess. There is no compensation whatsoever. After knight c6, the only chance was to play something like knight e4 or maybe knight a4, but it was still lost. It was still lost. Just look at these bishops now, controlling everything. Like, I can play bishop b7 if I want, but I don't want to give my opponent rook b8 resource, so first king c1. Now I have a sort of bishop b7 and then bishop c7, just trapping everything there. Right, I'm not sure what black is actually hoping for, because I'm international master after all. Come on. I know how to convert the extra minor piece. I know that, well, there are some blunders and so forth, but, well, it's just too much. It's just too much. It's just too much, my friend. All right, there will be a checkmate. There will be just a checkmate. Check and checkmate. Next move. Because bishop controls f8. All right, so that was just a blunder, nothing to discuss. Okay, I'm quite lucky tonight, I should say. Okay, Edward. Edward from Romania, rated 28. Hell, hundreds. Accept. Let's go. There's gonna be fight, I think. It's gonna be real fight. Real deal. Of course, if Edward is still online, I mean... Chromic says, thanks, Butterfly, you made me feel better. Well, guys, it happens. It happens. It happens to everyone. But the thing is, when you give up a dark squared bishop, you have to be careful about dark squared moves. That's a typical thing. So you never control dark squares good when you don't have a dark squared bishop on the board, which means potentially, well, every dark squared move can be a mistake. So you should be just very careful about that. What is going on? I'm not sure why Edward is spending the time here, because like it's just the third move in Scandinavian. I know there are a lot of choices, but still, I think if you play Scandinavian, you should be aware of which square to occupy after knight c3. Probably Edward is distracted with some stuff somewhere, you know. All right. Okay, bishop f5. I expected bishop to g4. Can I just play knight e5 in this situation? I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure, but feels like yes, I can do this. And now just g4. What about this? So something typical against Scandinavian. I mean, g4, h4 with the knight on e5. So as far as I remember, bishop g4 is the main line, not bishop f5. But who knows? I'm not an expert here. I'm not an expert here. Okay, knight e4, now what? Let me think a bit. Queen f3, queen takes d4, h5, just knight c3, bishop e4, I have nothing. So bishop g2 is probably a move, but then bishop b4, rook to h3 maybe, just protecting the knight on c3, so there is still a threat of playing h5 at some point. Okay, let's play bishop g2, I think it's okay. Very strange, guys. I don't understand why you experience these problems, I mean, with the stream, because, well, if you are familiar with the streaming, according to my stats, I didn't drop even a single frame. I mean, everything looks very smooth on my end. It's very strange. I mean, I don't know what is going on. So now, like, I take on g6, look at this, and then I take on b7. Come on, it's just lost immediately, I guess. Just a lost position. Wow. Feels like one more game, one more blunder. Or something very close to blunder, I don't know. So extra exchange, okay, some problems with the pawn structure, but black also has some problems with the pawn structure. Okay, it's just nothing, I guess. It's just an exchange. A not very good exchange for black. All right, another blunder. Or what is going on? So queen drops. Queen drops. Edward, I don't know what happened to you in this game, but it was just a series of super blunders. I mean, I have a feeling that bishop f5 is already not very good, but I might be wrong because I'm not a big expert here. But I do remember that bishop g4 is the main line here. So after knight f3, bishop g4 is the line. Okay. Let's continue. The commentator, except I have a feeling that not only I had a terrible week in the sense of busyness and tiredness and so on. So too many blunders tonight. Okay, the commentator tries to attack me with the King's Gambit. It's very brave. I always have some problems here. I mean, I don't remember the right order of moves. Okay, I still want to take on d5. So the question, why not GM? What do you mean? Flutlicht. What do you mean? Why am I not GM or something else? If you mean why am I not a GM, then I would tell you I'm lazy. I don't work on my openings enough. That is probably my main problem on this level. Okay, c3 is not from here, not from this opening, I believe. But there is a threat of queen b3 potentially, so I have to be careful. What if I just play bishop to e6? Is it a good idea or not? Queen goes to b3, then what? Queen e7 is also an interesting idea, but then king f2. And I have some problems. Maybe I should start with knight c6 here, simply. Just knight to c6. Or bishop e7 even. I guess bishop e7 is the solid choice. Now, castling or bishop e6. Bishop e6 is also a good move, but I'm going to castle. Come on, Andrey, grow a bird till you become a GM. Kramnik student offers me to follow Eamon Hambleton's approach. It's not enough, I mean. You still have to play a lot, and you still have to learn openings. I mean, a single beard won't help, I guess. But who knows? Yes. I misplayed it, I know. There is another great comment that by GM it was meant not a Grandmaster but General Motors. Yes, that's right. Can be. Okay, bishop d3. What is going on here? Bishop h7, king h7, queen h5, king g8. I don't think it's a correct sacrifice. Queen h5 immediately can be a bit more complicated. So g6, knight g6, f g6, bishop g6, rook f1, king f1, and then queen f8, check, king goes somewhere, and there is f2 square. Okay, so let's play knight c6. I think taking on e6 was a nice idea for white. I mean, probably it's an equal position, but black still has to prove it because the pawn structure is awful. Right now, I think I'm fine because I have better development. I'm still a pawn up. I have pair of bishops. Feels like I'm solving the problems. Typical problems of Queen's Gambit. And consequences of the sacrifice on g6, I think I just calculated well. Alright, this means white just lost the tempo and also gave me a minor piece. After knight e5, bishop on d3 is hanging. Another blunder. So I'm just collecting hanging pieces tonight. D takes e5, queen takes d3, time to resign. extra minor piece. It's important not to play e2 next move, because my queen on d3 is hanging. That's the only problem, I think. And Don G came. Hello, my friend. So after g6, for example, here, I was going to take here with check and then queen f8. That's what I was calculating before playing knight c6, because it was critical line. And look at this f2 square. Nice, isn't it? Where to go? I mean, it's almost a checkmate everywhere. King e2. All right, queen f2, king d3. Then like almost everything should win. Even taking on g6 is okay. I have too many extra material. Too many extra pieces, I wanted to say. But there should be a checkmate, right? But even if there is no checkmate, there's bishop c4 check, king e3, and something like taking on g6 right now. Absolutely winning position for black, because 2 extra minor pieces and so forth. Okay. So taking on e6 after knight e5 was probably the best chance. F takes e6, and now I don't even know what is the best, because there are many options. But true that this pawn on e3, although quite vulnerable, is quite annoying because it grabs d2 square and controls f2. If queen b3, then I just have queen d5 protecting everything here. Queen g4 is also not very dangerous because of rook f1, queen f8, and then queen f2 again. And if knight goes back to f3, then just queen f5. Yeah, maybe even taking on e6 is not that clear. I mean, maybe black is still a bit better. Dunno. So I think c3 is just too lame. I guess just castling immediately was much more promising, and I do believe that castling immediately is just the main line. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Cobra. Cobra is the next. Carving student says he was 3007 some time back. I was 3000 like 20 or 30 several years ago. So this time is gone. This time is simply gone. So again, this boring line with doubled pawns, which feels like an extra pawn on the queen side. I mean, there is an extra pawn on the queen side. I mean, it feels like extra pawn in general because these pawns are too bad. Again, bishop e6. That is something that I played against Hammer, as far as I remember. And I don't believe it is a good choice for black, to be honest. Or maybe I just played d4 in that game. I don't remember already what was the order of moves. I do remember there was no e5, there was queen on d5, which was equally dubious for black, I think. Bishop d6. Let's take it. I mean, if pawn takes on e5, I'm not going even to take it. I guess it will be much better for me to have the knight on e4 against this stupid bishop. Because after knight e4, well, knight e5 is not even possible after f takes e5 because of queen a5 check. So after f e5, I will be thinking of probably just castling or playing knight g5 or bishop g5, let's see. Something like this. I'm not sure which move is better. Bishop g5 looks nice as well, just a tempo option. Then castling long, rook to e1 with the quick centralization. And that's okay as well. Let's play bishop g5. So my pawn structure is much better now. And hence my pieces are much better as well, because there is no problem for me, let's say, to find good squares for my minor pieces. Let's say the knight will be just, again, very nice on e4. In front of this isolated pawn e5. Okay, what about knight g5 now? Creating a bunch of different threats like knight e6, queen h5, queen e4, knight e4. Wow, just a nice position. Knight e6 wins the exchange. Queen e4 attacks h7 with a checkmate threat. Queen c4 is a great move. I don't know. Everything looks great here, so I'll just play knight e6, you know. Kramnik student says that he missed queen a5. You missed queen g4. Sorry for that. Just a bad joke. Alright, again, extra material for nothing. Okay, it's important not to castle that way because a2 is hanging, so let's castle just here. And now what, just f4 or... No, f4 is just too much. Okay, everything looks great. Let's play bishop e3, let's say. Just extra exchange. And still better pawn structure. Castling reminds me of Kasimdzhanov Kasparov game, says Kramnik student. Wow, that is one of these cases when I cannot say anything in the response because I don't know this game. I mean, question, why not f4? Because f4 actually, e takes f4 was possible then. Black controlled f4 several times. Maybe it was playable for me, but I mean it's not very important here. If I play f4, just play along the d file, let's say. Because it's still absolutely winning. So let's grab some space after c4, let's say. Because the knight most likely goes to f6, right? And then maybe to d5 or something. So it's a good idea to limit it a bit. Okay. Let's bring the queen to slightly more active position. Now it's time to double the rooks, I guess, or not. Don't know, why not? Linares 2005. Okay. Thank you. I will check it. Alright, so black is fighting. Black is still fighting, black is still in the game. I have to be careful here. So let's go to d8 first, just to simplify a position a bit. Okay, let's take this one. Bishop g5 or queen f5 first, then g6. I'm not sure I achieve anything after queen f5. But Actually, no, f3 is also a move here. Or even f4, you know. A bit risky. But what is not risky here? Okay, this is not risky. I mean, g3. Just covering everything and preparing something like queen to g2. Attacking e4. Knight takes. Alright, queen e4 is better than f takes e3, I think. Because it's check. Intermediate check, winning the pawn. Yeah, nice. Now it's completely winning, of course. Bishop b6. What was that, bishop b6? I mean, at which point bishop to b6? Okay, bishop b6 for white, I understand that. Yeah, that's right. All right, but okay, the way I played was probably not very convincing, but I was winning after move. I don't know. I think after knight g5, it's already a winning position for white. Yeah, black is not forced to actually play castling here, missing this knight to e6, but what to do instead? So to play something like queen e7, covering this square, it's very lame. I mean, I can play lots of different moves, including just castling long here. I'm just ahead in development. I have much better pawn structure. My knight is going to the center. If black castles now, I have queen e4 first and g6, and then h4, h5, something like this. So very simple play for white, while black is struggling even to complete a development here. So I'm not sure that bishop e6 is a great move, to be honest. Maybe it's okay, but after bishop e6, f6, I believe, well, white is slightly better for sure, and, well, white has very straightforward and simple play. I mean, it's better to play something else for black. So the standard play followed by like bishop d6 castling, I think is much more testing here for black. Okay, next one is Maharishi from United Kingdom. Accept. Amanda asks me if I can start the game with the strange opening. I'm not sure what is this. Just give me a hint. What does it mean, Amanda? Maybe I will play it. Okay, c4, main line, queen's Indian defense. But here comes c6. And there will be Catalan. There will be Catalan, my friend. You cannot avoid it now. d7, d5, next move. And here we go. Catalan. Which should be not a big deal for white, actually, because if you play a d4, you should be aware of Catalan. It is one of the most promising continuations, one of the most promising concepts, and so forth. Lots of different things to mention. Okay, knight to e5, as far as I remember, it's okay in such a situation to play knight f to d7. I'm not entirely sure, but let's do it. So I attack c4, now I attack the knight on e5, and hence I want to just grab the knight on e5 and then take on c4 at some point. That's why I think knight to d2 is much more accurate move against bishop a6. Just how Etienne Bacro played against me in Bundesliga again. So 97, alright, 97. I think now black has no problems, simply. Especially after this. There is no even a single problem for black. Black is even slightly better because of the development, because of some pressure on e2. Well, we'll see. Rook to e1 was played. What about bishop b4 now? Bishop goes to d2 most likely, right? Okay, let's play rook c8 instead. Let's see where the bishop goes first. Alright, because in this case I have bishop a3. Very promising continuation, I guess. Creating sort of bishop b2. Very typical thing in such a pawn structure. Also, it's just a move control on c1 square, so I'm fighting for the c file, as we can see. It is open, and my bishop on a3 is very useful, I guess. I can also protect it with the queen if necessary, at some point. Now I have to be careful because b4 is probably a threat. So let's prevent it. Maybe it's not a prevention, actually. Oh, it's not. I have a feeling that I'm misplaying it a bit. e4 is what I wanted to see, actually. Bishop d3 now. Looks nice. Before was very interesting. I think queen e7 was a mistake, but we will see this a bit later during the analysis. And now I'm just trying to simplify this stuff somehow. Let's take here. Should I play this? I think it's okay. I mean, going away from this e-file. And what do we have here? We have extra exchange again, but white has a compensation. Because the pawn structure is not that clear, and there is a pawn, there are two bishops, and so forth. Queen to 2 is just a one move threat, I think. I will just play a5 to prevent bishop b4, and I'm not sure that queen on d2 is placed very good. Fuchsia says that my fee for consulting in web dev, probably web development, is 80 euros per hour. Do you mean front end, back end, or everything? Like, can you actually help somebody to become a full stack web developer or something for this money? Bishop h3. Alright, I wanted to try something like this against it. Just protecting e6. b4. Right, it's time to do something with this squares, pieces, and everything. Probably bringing the knight to d5 is an idea. But first, I think I have to start with this move anyway. Oh, a3 is just too passive, I think. Or maybe I'm just overestimating my position. You know, I'm starting misplaying it because I'm too focused on what Fuchs has said. Queen e2. Queen c6. No, bishop e6 is already a threat. Oh my god. What am I doing here, huh? What am I doing here? Okay, let's play this. I know it's bad. But my opponent decided not to take on e6, which is strange a bit. It was offered for free. Bishop e3, alright. Let's go away. Absolutely not convincing conversion here, just a very bad technique. Just like in the last episode of Training Tuesday, that was a topic. But this time it's not like in that game. It's absolutely different. I'm just playing complete bullshit. But my opponent is helping me because he didn't actually do anything active. Against all this lame stuff. Still, I'm struggling a bit to find good squares for my pieces. And there is no time anymore on the clock. So I have to play faster simply. It's important not to get checkmated somehow. Okay, let's play this. Yeah, just a disastrous game, in fact. Complete bullshit starting from somewhere, I don't know. Maybe from Queen e7 moment. That is just a strange thing, but after Queen e7, I have a feeling that b4 was possible. b4 just trapping my bishop. I mean, if I take here, there is tactics. Knight e5 takes on bishop b4 and white winning. White is just winning the exchange for nothing, absolutely, all of a sudden. And I wasn't sure what to do with this bishop because there is just a threat of just playing queen a4 at very least. There is a threat of playing queen b3. There is probably no defense anymore. I mean, it's just... oh my god. So probably bishop a3 was in general just a stupid idea for black because it is a waste of time after rook b1. Proved to be a waste of time. So something simple like knight to f6 should be played here, I believe. Just controlling e4 additionally. Now e4 I just take and then my knight goes to d5, playing against the isolated pawn. And preparing everything carefully, like bishop b4 first, then maybe queen to d6. Maybe just doubling pieces along the c file because bishop a3 is kind of long-term threat here. And yeah, just trying to play along the c-file, trying to control some squares. I mean, it's much more pleasant to play this as black, because there is a clearer plan. And white's main piece, a Catalan bishop on g2, is quite bad here, being limited with this. That's why cd5 is almost never that dangerous for black when you already played b3, so there is no immediate play connected with queen a4, which means my bishop is doing very well on a6, and that's why I recommend playing something like knight e2 here, just like Baccarat did against me, and he won the game. Well, not because of the opening, but, well, there was a great part of that win, actually, connected to the opening, I think, because I misplayed it a bit right after that. So 92 is very nice because I don't have this 97. I mean, I can play 97 still, but it will be not the move that attacks anything, and white has a chance to play e4 then. That's the idea. So, one more game or something. Look at this. That was about CSS, I think. Or maybe not. Okay, Fuchsia can tell me what was that, because all of a sudden the thing that should be here, I mean on the right side of the screen, appeared on the left side of the screen. Very strange. Okay, Schrummel, accept. Plan is black again. So is there a chance to get back to 3,000? I mean, I need only 4 points more. Alright, there will be Catalan, I guess. Or maybe there will be just d3, 92, e4. We'll see. No, there will be Catalan, I guess. Come on, let's play it. One more game, the same topic. b3. b6. Bishop b2, bishop to a6, or... No, knight is still on b1, so I don't want to play bishop a6. I'll play knight d7 first. And then we'll see. If knight on c3, then bishop to a6. And now it's a different story a bit, because the bishop is already on b2, so white didn't play e4. I mean, it's not the same like I told you just several minutes ago, discussing the previous game. It's now a bit different. What about just playing b5? A slightly different order of moves, and position is like not the same. Yeah, I know. It's very late already, and I'm just telling you the bullshit. Sorry for that. Alright, now I can do something like this. Very typical thing. I'm playing against c4 pawn. The rook on f1 is hanging. Alright. What to do with this pawn c4? It's like very vulnerable now. Maybe my opponent is going to sacrifice the exchange. Okay, I will take it. Feels like I have the extra exchange in each and every game tonight. At least last 4 or 5 games were like featuring this material relationship. I think so. I'm not sure that it's true, but it feels like that. Okay, now I just take on c4. Healthy extra pawn because I don't damage my pawn structure. Yeah, the chat is very good tonight, you know. Then G says, no protesting allowed. If you want to protest, you can come to my country. Alright, queen a4. So c6 is hanging, right? Okay. How to protect c6 correctly? Not damaging the own position. Queen c7 looks like an option. In general, I want to put it on b6. And I don't want to play c5 too early because the bishop b2 then becomes active. Yeah, I'm going to play this. Oh, I missed something, or what's going on? Or no, it's just an exchange. Okay, I just take here, bishop a3. All right, I just come back to somewhere. Queen b7 leads to rook b1, so maybe, I don't know which square is better. Queen d7, I think, is a good choice here, controlling everything and protecting everything. All right, so I'm still a pawn up. I mean, the exchange is probably not that bad idea for black in such a situation. So white is going to survive it, right? I'm going to win this. How? That's the question. First of all, I think e-file should be occupied, right? Knight d5, bishop d5, bishop d5, knight d5. Okay, I still control everything. So rook e8 is a good move. b-file is probably not that important here. h3. All right, h5. Queen b4. Intending queen to b7, I think. But as I said before, it's probably not that important in general. Maybe it's not that important at all. What about queen f5 now? Active possibility. Queen f5, queen b7, queen d3. Attacking the knight, attacking the pawn on d4. It looks very promising. So let's bring the queen there to f5. Queen c5 instead. Still, queen d3 looks very, very strong. I mean, the knight is hanging. Is there anything better than queen d3? Something like rook to e2, rook to e2, rook to b8. I'm missing this check. Rook e2, if knight e2, I mean, I just take on b1, but... Okay, queen c2 is probably even stronger than queen d3, or maybe I'm wrong. I didn't know what is the difference. So let's put it just here and see what white is going to do. I wanted to say. So queen is pinned to d4 pawn now. The knight is pinned to the rook. If rook goes to c1, I have queen to d2. And here I just have this. Queen takes d4. One more pawn. And that was very important pawn, a central one. All right, so after b5, black is okay in this line. I mean, it's harmless. So the bishop is already on b2. That's the difference if compared to the previous game. It's kind of quick masterclass in closed Catalan this time, which is very nice. All right. But after b5, it doesn't mean that, well, it's already bad for white. So c5 is a good move here. I think b4, knight a4, bishop goes here, something like a3. This should be considered seriously. Position is probably still slightly better for white. That is the main plan. So it is closed. I know it's probably not very inspiring, but black has to find active play, which is not that simple. So that's the idea. Okay. So playing e4 in that situation, I mean, is quite dubious. The next is the clasher. And the clasher will be probably my last game. Sorry, guys, but if compared to other banter blitzers, I think I do this longer, usually. So like 2 hours almost every Friday. And I usually play to the guys I've never played before at the very beginning of the show. So the best way to get the game is to come earlier. Like 30 minutes before the start. Sometimes 45 minutes before the start of the show. And just leave the challenge. If you are among first challengers, moreover, if you are the one that I've never ever played before, there is almost a guarantee that your challenge will be accepted. But I usually play only 3, okay, at maximum 4 games against the guys I've never played before at the beginning of every Banter Blitz. And yeah, I just cannot play each and everybody, all right? At some point, I just come back to the normal order of challengers. I mean, the first things first. I mean, the guy who challenged earlier gets the game, something like this. That's the system. Okay, this is the main line of this sideline. So exchange variation of Roy Lopez, in which black usually damages the pawn structure, but white doesn't care. Dungy says, I cannot come early, I'm stuck at work. That's right, that's the reason. But I also noticed that you don't really play against me. So it feels like you like to watch. But that's okay, you probably just learn more. There are also other possibilities to play against me, alright? Okay, why didn't I take on g4? I mean, Catalan is just a so serious mistake. And it's so typical. I'm just tired, really. So h takes g4 now wins the piece. The thing is, after knight g5, g4 is handing with check. And this changes everything, literally. And I could have done this immediately after black castled. Just somehow forgot about this possibility. I mean, there were so many games already played by me on internet when I won them exactly this way, like just grabbing the bishop at some point. No, Donji, I'm sorry, but I'm not going to play another game right now. So this one will be definitely the last one because I'm really tired. I'm done. But fortunately, there will be more streaming from me in upcoming weeks, and yeah, we'll have the chance to play. Alright, and now knight h3 or queen h3 both are equally good to protect the h1 square. Okay, I will play knight to h3, but it doesn't really matter. So just extra minor piece, no compensation. That's the thing. Yet another blunder. Castling was a blunder. Alright, guys, so that was like a paradise for me because I was really tired, I was really exhausted, and I was worrying about actually blundering in each and every game. But instead of doing that, I was actually using your blunders, which means that you were probably even more tired and even more exhausted. In any case, I do hope that you learned something from this session and appreciated it. It was quite interesting. At least it looked quite interesting on my end. Don't know how was it on your end. I wish you a great weekend, and hopefully see you very, very soon. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel to get some instructive chess content. Don't forget to upgrade your Chess24 membership to get the access to all the features, including super video series and some premium shows, just like my Training Tuesday, which is closed to premium members only. And, well, all the best, all the best, all the best. Bye-bye. Take care.